When you hear the word nihilism, what instantly pops in your head? If you're like most people online, you probably picture a very specific archetype. An edgy 16 years old on Reddit typing out, "Life is an illusion, bro. We just meet suits on a floating rock, or nothing matters." Or maybe you picture someone sitting in a dark room, dressed entirely in black, listening to sad indie music and deeply contemplating the void. We have been conditioned to think that nihilism is just a bad mood. It's what happens when you watch too many dark psychological thrillers or get existential dread after staring at your engineering college syllabus. But what if I told you that we have been completely scammed by a massive historical bait and switch? Okay, let's wind back the clock exactly 145 years to June 1881. Picture this scene. You're at Harvard University. You're surrounded by one of the top 1% of elite people. They are wealthy, these are wealthy, proper gentlemen in tailored suits. They're expecting a nice, safe, comforting graduation speech about liberty and patriotism from a legendary 70 years old civil rights icon named Wendell Phillips. Instead, this highly respected person stands up, clears his throat, and drops an absolute tactical nuke on the audience. He looks at these elite academics and openly praises nihilism. He calls it a righteous and honorable resistance and boldly claims that it's evidence of life. The crowd completely lost its mind. History records that speech sounded to Harvard ears as wicked and perverse. It would be like an it would be like a respected elder statesman giving a speech at an IIT convocation today and openly hyping up international cyber anarchists who want to hack the entire global banking system. Why on earth would a champion of human liberty defend something as dark as nihilism? Because in 1881, nihilism didn't mean sitting on a couch feeling bored. It had teeth. It meant Russian nihilism. Back then, Russia was ruled by a brutal dictator, the Tsar. The common people were treated like absolute dirt, with zero right and zero peaceful ways to protest. So a bunch of young radical university students looked at the entire system and said, "Yeah, this game is completely rigged. Let's reset it to factory settings." They didn't just want a new political party. They wanted to entirely dismantle the three pillars of society: private property, traditional marriage, and organized religion. They saw them as tools used by powerful to keep everyone else compliant. And when writing pamphlets didn't work, they upgraded to literal homemade pipe bombs. In fact, just 3 months before that Harvard speech, a nihilist group successfully assassinated the Tsar. When Vandal Phillips defended them, he was dropping a brutal truth bomb on those comfortable Harvard elites. You love to celebrate the American Revolution of 1776 because it's safely in your history books. But when oppressed kids today blow up a tyrant who enslaves millions, you call it evil? If a system suffocates you so completely that you have no legal choices left, destroying that system is the only way to prove you aren't a contented slave. So, how did we get from this bomb throwing revolutionaries to edgy internet trolls? And in fact, there's a very crazy paradox about this word itself. Nihil means nothing, ism means ideology. Put them together, and nihilism is the ideology of nothing. But your brain shorts out trying to process that. How do you actively believe in nothing? The moment you talk about nothing, you accidentally turn it into a thing. Think about your daily life. When a friend calls you on WhatsApp and asks, "Bye, what are you doing?" and you say nothing, are you literally floating in a cosmic void? No, you're breathing, your heart is pumping, you're probably lying under a fan staring at the ceiling. What you actually mean is, "I'm doing nothing worth mentioning." And this is where it hits you. If we spend hours every single day mindlessly scrolling, clicking next episodes, killing time, and classifying all of it as nothing worth mentioning, Then what does it say about our lives? Our actions are revealing that we are treating our own limited time on earth as if it amounts to absolutely nothing. The genius of modern society is that it realized it couldn't stop people from realizing life feels meaningless. So instead of fighting the nihilists, it decided to charge them rent. We turned nihilism into a multi billion dollar marketing strategy. We watch hit TV shows like True Detective, where the main character famously rants about how human consciousness is a tragic mistake. We make memes out of it, buy the merchandise, and stream it on corporate owned apps. We buy aesthetic t shirts and say, break the system using our credit cards. To be countercultural and anti system is now exactly what the consumer culture wants you to do. Rebellion is just another product on the shelf. Even worse, nihilist has become the lazy, ultimate insult we throw at each other in public debates. Atheists call religious people nihilists for ignoring scientific facts. Religious people call atheists nihilists for ignoring God. Right wing folks call left wing folks nihilists. Left wing folks return the favor. Everyone points fingers, playing a massive game of moral superiority. And this brings us to the climax where this philosophy was inspired from Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche warned us that a true nihilist isn't someone who has zero beliefs. A nihilist is someone who clings to shallow, fake, comfortable beliefs just because they are too cowardly to face real life. Simply put, nihilism is taking meaningfulness for granted. You don't need to look at 19th century history or international political chaos to find a nihilist. You don't need to find a radical rebel. You just have to look at how smoothly we navigate our modern, hyper convenient digital lives. We just assume that our daily lives, our online status, our corporate hustles, and our consumer habits are automatically meaningful without ever doing the agonizingly hard work of stopping to check if they actually are. The whole school nihilists blew up the world because they were suffocating, and want real freedom. Modern nihilists just put on noise cancelling headphones, open a streaming app, and quietly let the world burn around them. So, what are you doing with your life right now? Nothing?